Hi, and welcome to Equilter Quick Tips. I'm Dana, and I manage customer service here at Equilter. Today, we're featuring a pattern called Autumn Retreat. You may have enjoyed our Spring Retreat pattern earlier. We're changing seasons a little bit. Our segment today is Simplified Diagonal Corner Seams. This is a wonderfully easy, accurate, and quick way to get diagonal treatments at the corners. What we're working with in Autumn Retreat is a lovely panel picture of a seam. On the corners, we're going to create this diagonal effect, and we're going to do it with 2 squares. That means we do not have to cut a strip, we do not have to cut triangles, but we do need to mark them. With any technique that's quick, easy, and accurate, our cutting of our pieces and our marking of the lines to which we'll make reference is also terribly important. We need to be accurate. I have set the brown square on a grid and am getting ready to draw a line that will connect the 2 diagonal corners. One of my favorite tools for marking is the Sew Line Trio. It has both a light colored lead and a dark colored lead, so a switch out is very easy. When we are marking, of course we're going to use a ruler. The thing we need to keep in mind is that there is a thickness to the pencil lead, and that needs to be accommodated as we are drawing the line. So I will position my ruler approximately where I think it needs to go, but I will check before I draw my line that the position is correct, so I am connecting my corners exactly. And there I have a nice line that connects those 2 corners. I'm going to do that on all of the squares for the quilt. And I have 32 brown and 32 light colored squares to draw the diagonal stitching line. All I have to do is turn my pen to get to the dark side, and then we can continue the drawing technique. Again, this is our stitching line. So I am simply connecting the corners so we get a nice accurate line on which to stitch. So we have our base window pane ready to stitch the squares onto. I simply align the first square, the dark brown one, with the edges of the window pane. I match up the corner and these 2 sides. Of course, you want to make sure your diagonal is in the right direction as you're piecing. I am putting the right sides together, so we've made our marks on the wrong side. And now we'll stitch those. Now that we have aligned the right sides together and the square into the corner of our window pane, we're ready to stitch. I have found that using a general purpose presser foot with a nice mark where the needle is a great way to get this done accurately. It is very helpful to watch where the mark hits the line rather than watching your needle. So do keep that in mind. And we're going to stitch this, and you will notice that I'm using a very light colored thread here as I do this stitching. That is so you can see it when we're finished. Normally, I would use, of course, a brown thread. And our seam is ready. And now we're ready to cut the triangle off. So now we've sewn our seam, it's time to trim off the outer corner using the ruler and aligning 1/4 inch line of the ruler, because like with all quilting, we're going to use 1/4 inch seam allowance here. We're going to trim that off, and you can see that we've removed both the outer triangle of the square and the outer triangle of the window. Here you can see that with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I have cut off the outside corner of the square and the window pane. We're going to press the triangle, remaining triangle open, and now we're ready for our second step, putting right sides together. Again, we're going to align our little square with our big square, right sides together. And again, we're going to stitch, letting the presser foot guide tell us where to stitch, rather than watching the needle. When you watch the needle, you get too close to it, and it's much more difficult to keep it on line. So now we have our second square sewn. We're going to trim off the outer triangles, leaving 1/4 inch of seam allowance, and then press that little corner up. And in the end, this is how it will look. Our 1/4 inch seam allowance, the outer triangle cut away, and the corner pressed in its place. So our final square is attached with our seam. Again, we're going to use a 1/4 inch alignment on the ruler and trim off the outer triangle of the cream and the dark brown. We'll then flip this up and press it, and we have our quick, easy, and accurate diagonal seam on the corner. So we have our first block for autumn retreat ready to go. It's quick, it's easy, it's accurate, and I don't know about you, but I can feel the chill in the air, I can smell those leaves, and I'm ready to go. And so our first block is complete with wonderful diagonal treatments in each corner. Easily done, no strips, no triangles, just squares that we align, we stitch on the diagonal, and we trim off the excess. It's quick, it's easy, and it's accurate. We hope you've enjoyed our segment today and look forward to seeing you again on eQuilter Quick Tips.